The night that Brian shot my thing,
Yeah.
I did. Mine was called. Eventually, it was called Silent but Deadly. It ran on Showtime. We were supposed to do 2 shows and cut it together from that, but I wound up doing like it was supposed to be 90 minutes, but I did like 2.5 hours. And when I got off stage, Brian was just like, "Oh my god, if we had to cut the show from that,
Yeah.
we could." And I was like, "Nah, man, there's one more show." And then I went in the back and had a heart attack, and we didn't do the second show. So my stand-up special is cut from the one fucking show.
And were you
Didn't have
330 when that
collection.
happened?
No, at that point I was 290. So I was down a little bit from there because I'd given up sugar at one point, but I was still pretty hefty.
And like, what is a day like for you now as like consuming wise? Like when you...
Not much. Like the kids that I travel with, I'm on tour with, Liv and Josh, they're always kind of like mentioning like, you don't really eat meals anymore. You just kind of snack.
And that's like really the truth?
Yeah.
Do you exercise too?
Yeah, I go walking generally every day, like 4 or 5 miles.
Oh, wow. So you stayed on top of it. That's the thing is some people have something like that happen and then they just kind of go right back.
The doctor, the day that I was getting out, he's like, "How do you feel?" I was like, "I feel great." And he goes, "Well, that's the problem." I said, "Why?" He's like, "Well, time was you went through something like you went through, 100% blockage. We'd have to crack your fucking chest. We'd saw your bones. We'd get into your heart. We'd fix it. Then you would sit around mending for 3 to 6 months and you would know that you went through something serious and you would change your life accordingly." He goes, "But look at you. You're out of here in 32 hours. You say you feel great. That means like you may just slip back into the same habits." You put a stent in there. He's like, "So you could just slip back," and that's what happens. He goes, "If I'm lucky, I'll see you one more time before you die if you don't change your habits." And so at that point, my kid she'd been vegan for like 3 years and stuff. And it was so weird watching her like trying to figure out where to eat and stuff because there was no place.
I saw you guys one time at the Beverly Center. I didn't say hi.
This is fucking really cool.
Well,
It's a hell of an anecdote.
You know what I mean? It's like you had Apple stuff. You just bought Apple stuff.
And I was with
like,
the kid?
I was like, I'm not going to go fucking bother the guy. You
Why?
know? I don't know, because you're famous. I didn't want to.
Hardly. But in regard, you could come over and been like, "I saw Clerks."
Hey, how's Apple?
Well, if that's your opener, I would suggest.
They still got
you seem
good
a lot
stuff?
more charming than that.
No,
you could have been, unusually urban with me.
What it do, homeboy? So, what's the word, Cat? I always feel like I recognize people and I go, don't bother that guy. You don't want to bother anybody.
What was I talking about? I forgot.
Your kid was vegan is so hard.
She made me go vegan. She was there when the nutritionist was like, "You should, maybe think about adding more vegetables into your diet." And the kid was like, "You should just go vegan, Dad."
Were you just an animal before?
I used to drink, this is no lie, and people get weirded out. I used to drink 2 gallons of milk a day. I loved milk. Somebody told me milk is very filling.
I've never even met somebody like that.
2 gallons of milk a day.
Really?
Yeah, I loved milk. It was
2
crazy.
gallons?
And that wasn't, you would think like that was the only thing I did, full fat milk. Because we did an episode of a podcast I do called Education. My friend Andy McElfresh read a factoid where he
that might be the wildest quirk I've ever heard about anybody.
It put me on a fucking operating table, almost killed me eventually. But he said during this one piece, he was talking about how milk is very filling because it coats the stomach and stuff and makes you less hungry. I was like, that sounds good. So I started just overdoing it with the milk. It's pretty bad.
And food-wise, where you just eat whatever?
Whatever the fuck, yeah. But mostly like
and are you
never
vegan? You're still vegan now?
Yeah, still. It's been, I'm coming up on 5 years. The day after the heart attack, when the nutritionist said that shit, the kid was like, "Please, Dad, try it."
Do you have temptations to, or no, you're kind of.
I don't miss anything.
You don't miss anything.
They now have got like equal shit.
Also, doesn't it feel good to look in the mirror though? Like it's nice.
It is. It is actually better.
I mean, I used to feel like that does so much for self-esteem.
It does. And it's also like, it's something that has been an issue like my whole fucking life.
Same,
right? Since
same,
I was
dude.
a kid, ever struggling with the fucking weight and stuff. So it was nice to get to a place where it's not the concern. I'm not consumed with that anymore.
And
mind
with
you,
how
my
uncomfortable
body,
you are.
Totally. But mind you, my body is nothing anybody wants to look at because when you lose that weight, all the skin just drapes.
Falls. Yeah.
And so one could get a procedure where you like have it cut off and they sew you up and shit. But a friend of mine did that and he was like, "Bro, never do it." He was like, I know you. You have no tolerance, no threshold for pain. He's like, "This is the worst pain I've ever been in my life." So I got evidence, man. Like fucking, if I take my fucking kid off right here and shit, I look like fucking, remember the dude in RoboCop who got hit with the fluids? He's like, and he's all droopy.
Yeah.
That's what my shit looks like. Or remember in The Shining when the hot chick gets out of the tub and turns into
terrifying.
That's my shit looks like.
Is that a kind of a, is that a thing every day where you pass by a mirror and it's a...
If I'm out of clothes. Like
but it's
if
a
I have
silent
to-
reminder though, I'm saying? Like where
always,
you go,
always, when I see it. And another reason not to like cut it off. It's like, battle scars, so to speak. And whatnot. But also like I'm 52. Who gives a fuck?
Oh, totally.
It's not like my wife's like, oh my God, get rid of that.
Yeah.
All this time. I'm sure now she's like, this is better than fucking what I've been dealing with the last 20 years.
Right.
We've never had that real conversation, but we should one day where I'm like, you like this better, right?
Right?
Right? Like,
Right.
Like me being, come on. I mean, for fucking 24 years, like she was on top because I was like, well,
I'm a big guy.
yeah, you seem to like it up there.
I do. I've struggled with it as an adult my whole life, up and down, up and down. This is probably the longest stint I've had right now of just being serious.
You look thin to me.
I'm 205 right now.
So,
but I've been,
and yet you have the audacity to call a podcast Two Bears, One Cave. They were hardly a bear.
Well, it started, I was way fatter.
So now you got to change the name of the podcast. We had a podcast called Fat Man Beyond, Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah.
Then I lost weight. We had to change it to Fat Man Beyond.
Really?
Yes. Because I felt like it was false advertising.
So what should we call it? One bear, one otter?
One bear, one otter.
One
yeah.
otter,
Fucking yeah, man. I mean, what else would it be? It's like
Tom and the Hitler guy? I don't know.
Thank you for watching that highlight here from YMH Studios. That was a highlight or a clip, whichever word you prefer. You watched it, and there are so many more little bite-sized episode things. They're just click them. Maybe it's someone screaming or bleeding. Maybe it's just laughing at someone, making fun of them.